All right, we've got the semi-finals that we were looking for. France, Spain, England, and Argentina. The big four, the four that we saw making it this far. And oh man, this is exciting. This is exciting. France versus Spain. Let's begin. Let's dive straight into that. How do you see it going?
I see France winning this one. It'll be a close game though, man. It'll be probably the highest level game we've seen at this World Cup, I'll say, in terms of quality. It'll be a close game, but I think France will prevail. I just think Spain have been missing that outlet in their attack. Nico Williams, that's how he was very integral to the Euros win. I think they've been missing him because they've got Baena on the left, but he's not really much of an outlet as well. He's he's doing what he can, but they are definitely missing Nico Williams, and France's attack is just too good. Honestly, it's too good. I do think Spain will dominate the midfield a bit better, a bit more than any other team has been able to against France, just because of the quality of their players. Oh, okay. Well, that is if Pedri comes back into the team. Last game they did Rodri, Fabian Ruiz, and Olmo midfield against Belgium. I think they need Pedri.
Yeah.
Either Pedri or Gavi to come in so they can really take control.
I have a feeling it's gonna be Pedri, but maybe as a number 10. That's what I feel like he might go for. But yeah, Pedri, Gavi. What midfield would you play if you were Spain?
Probably Rodri, Gavi, Pedri. You know what I
Right.
mean? I just think, yeah, that's three top midfielders. I think that's their best midfield trio.
Yeah.
And they got a bit of everything, and I think they'll be able to, hold the ball better with that midfield. They're gonna need that against France. But yeah, what about you?
I heard De La Fuente say Pedri has to play differently because we're a different team to Barcelona, right? So he can't do the exact same role that he's doing at Barcelona, which I mean makes sense, but really, I think you should just be focusing on getting the best out of him because he's their key midfielder. I would do the same as you said. I would do Rodri next to Gavi, and then I'll do Pedri. Or we could do 4-3-3 in some form. I think Gavi, he would win the ball off the ball and his energy. I think he does that better than anyone else in the Spain midfield, and I think they'll need that in a game like against France. But yeah, it's a tough game. I'm agreeing with you. I think and how I see the game going, and I expect France to win. I think that Spain, they have only conceded one goal, right? Their last game against Belgium. But I do think that you can get at this defense. I think what's kept them, with clean sheets in most of their games is the fact that they keep the ball well, and especially against the teams that they've come up against, they haven't really had a real issue with keeping the ball, right? They're just much better technically all over the pitch. I think with France have players that will stop them from playing their natural game all over the pitch, right? Because you can think of their defenders. Their defenders are really good. Saliba, Upamecano, etc. I think they'll stop the attack. I think they'll be relatively comfortable. But then someone like Doué, really good at winning the ball. Even someone like Lise, for a high-level attacking player, I think he does a really good job at like stopping the opposition from playing and stuff like that. He's not like a lazy or weak player out of possession. So I think that's going to create challenges for Spain, and I don't think they're going to be able to dictate the flow of the game. I think they might have more possession, but I think it will feel at the end of the game like France had a greater presence on how the game went. That's what I expect to see. And because of that, I'm expecting France to win in normal time. Although it's a great game. It's a really, really good game, man. It's like, oh man. How does Kubasi deal with Kouassi and Laporte, how do they deal with, Mbappe running behind? How does Rodri deal with Olise? A lot of questions for me. But the main one is Yamal and Digne, because that is Spain's chance, right? Luka Dean is a good player. He's defended well. He's been a lot more conservative than Teo Hernandez when he's played left back, and I think that's why he's playing. But I do think Lamine Yamal, if he is at his best, I think he's getting closer, but he's getting a bit frustrated because he doesn't have the same help he has at Barcelona around him. He's just getting a bit frustrated that he has to do everything himself and he doesn't really have anyone with dribbling ability or pace to help him out. But this could be his moment. He is good enough to do something special by himself. Do you think that Yamal could be enough, or could really have a game that is enough to beat a team this good, like this France side? Do you think he's got that in him?
I mean, he definitely got it in him, but if they play the same front three, Oyarzabal and Baena, yeah, I don't think that'll be enough. If Nico Williams is able to play and put in a good enough shift, you never know, man. They might be able to shock the French. But I think they would need that Rodri, Pedri, Gavi midfield to do that, because that will really help them dominate the midfield, and that will be key if they, if they have a chance against that French team. Because on the break, on the counter, France they're gonna catch them at least once.
Mm-hmm.
So Spain really need to be able to offer something, and I think that's the only way they would have a chance.
Do you see any changes from France in their lineup? Do you expecting Tchouaméni to come back in? What do you think Deschamps is going to do?
Yeah, he'll bring in Tchouaméni. It'll be Tchouaméni or Rabiot. Front four, I'm not sure if he'll play Barcola. Doué didn't have the best game against Belgium, but yeah, I think
I feel
Barcola.
like he'll bring in Doué for his work rate. That's what I feel like, for his work rate, his ball winning abilities, and his ability to like hold the ball in possession. And I feel like Barcola off the bench late in the game might be more dangerous. I might be wrong, but I just feel like that would be the smart strategy. And I think Doué will help them have their own stretches of possession for longer, right? France, I don't expect them to just sit back, like purely. I mean, they could do that, but I feel like that's giving Spain a little bit too much of opportunity, right? I think you sit deep, you let them break you down, but then you have moments where you have Spain having to sit deep, because Spain have a very limited counter-attacking threat. So if they're having to sit back, you shouldn't be as worried as you would be, with the Euro team, where it's Yamal and Nico Williams, right, coming up against you. And I think also Nico Williams could come off the bench. That is an interesting, thing to consider, but he's not fully fit. France, if it is a tight game, as you mentioned, Barcola could come off the bench, but this, we still have good players like Cherki. I feel like that might also be a difference in a game like this. If it does end up being a tight one, going into extra time or something like that, we still haven't seen France have to use their full set of resources. So that's another element there that just makes me confident that France will go through. Great game though.